Hi everyone, this is Kojak's Pro. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. It's actually the only financial instrument that I want to trade this week because it seems to be the only one that is piquing my interest in terms of giving me an actual setup. Other ones are just there trying to form this here and there, but I want to talk about Bitcoin because that's where I'm interested. And for you guys, Bitcoin lovers and crypto lovers, it's almost getting ready to invest in crypto and invest in Bitcoin to be specific, but it's not ready yet. It's not ready yet. So I'm going to say this emphatically. It's not ready to start buying for Bitcoin. Me, I want to enter for a trade, for a buy for Bitcoin in the nearest future. It could be tomorrow, it could be next tomorrow. But then I have to wait for the time the market tells me to go, and I'll go. And that's it. So you see how confident I'm talking about having to enter a trade. I've gotten to this stage whereby I'm not scared of entering trades anymore because I know exactly what the market wants to do. And that only comes with experience, and that comes with a lot of chat time. So without wasting time, let's dive in and see what Bitcoin has for us. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And now let's get into the video. So this is my Bitcoin chart. And this is how our chart looks like. Very clean, very juicy, very simple. And I usually start my analysis, in case you don't know me, I usually start my analysis from the high time frames, then zoom down to the lower time frames. Now, on the high time frame, everyone knows, or at least if you have been in the trading space for a while, you will know that Bitcoin has been bullish for a long time now, albeit linear at that as well. But the market doesn't usually move always in a straight line. You can see here clearly on the monthly that we are bullish on Bitcoin. Is it time to start buying Bitcoin? No. Simply because the market moves up and down. You're only seeing it with a bird's eye view here on the monthly time frame, and you can't just trade on the monthly time frame, guys. The monthly time frame is only meant for clarity, it's only meant for direction. So now I've come and seen that Bitcoin is bullish. What else do I do? Simple. I scale down to the lower time frames, like the weekly and the daily, to refine my trading position. So what I do typically in the weekly time frame is to plot my key levels and also check for any chart patterns that might want to reverse this trend. So I'm just going to take this away now. So we can see that we don't see any chart patterns here. And if I should draw a clear trend line, you can see that we are clear-cut bullish. Now, the monthly is saying we are bullish. The weekly is also saying we are bullish as well. So, and you can see that our key levels have been drawn. So all these beige-colored areas. So I'm just going to take this off. So all these beige colored rectangles are our key levels, and there are a lot of them as well. So our key levels have been plotted. So our key levels are basically our support and resistance zones. And now support and resistance zones have been plotted. Ideally, I plot them on the weekly time frame. We have lower key levels, like the lower entry key levels, like the daily and the 4-hourly. But the monthly and the weekly key levels have to be plotted first of all, so you can know where you're going. Because ideally, I like to trade from zone to zone. That's how to trade. So if the market is trending to the upside, the only way you can profit from it as a trader is to follow the trend. And how do you know or know where the market is going to get to be able to liquidate and take your profits? That's only going to happen when you have foresight of trading from one zone to the next. And that's why it's good to plot your zones this way. So our zones have been plotted on the weekly. Now I'll just scale to the daily time frame to see what's happening. Now, I did make a video earlier on about Bitcoin, and I said that Bitcoin's eventual target is still written here. It's still here. So Bitcoin's eventual target is 139, actually this green bar, $139,000 per coin. Now, when I made this prediction, Bitcoin was trading about $109,000 per coin, and I said that if Bitcoin does break this line you can see here, so this was the last high Bitcoin made before consolidating in this around this zone and then broke through it. I said if Bitcoin breaks this zone, which was $112,000 per coin mark, that Bitcoin is going to soar and make new highs. Bitcoin did exactly that. If you're doubting me, check my previous video. I'm going to put a link of it right here so that you can see it. Bitcoin made that move and actually gave us a break above that zone and sold to $124,000 per coin. Now, Bitcoin, like I told you, that the price doesn't move in a straight line. The market isn't linear. The market has to break in and break out, break in and break out. Now, Bitcoin has made a move to the upside, and you can see clearly that we are having a temporary pullback to the downside. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Simple and short. And that's what I'm here to tell you guys. This is why I'm looking at this opportunity as being very juicy. So daily, I'm just going to recap on my daily. What I come to do on the daily time frame is to ensure that the immediate trade in the daily time frame is in conformity to the overall trend. Now you can see that on the daily time frame, price seems to be pulling back. You can see that we are pulling back right about here, but we are going to pull back only to demand areas. So when we are pulling back to demand, this is demand area because that was the last high that was broken and it's been drawn here. So I'm expecting Bitcoin to react around here. If Bitcoin reacts around here and gives us an entry setup for this trade, I'm going to jump into a Bitcoin buy and take it all the way to $139,000 per coin. So the position right about here is still the same, apparently still the same point I made my predictions, which was $112,000 per coin. So if Bitcoin comes around here and rallies, I'll get into this trade. But I don't just enter into trades. That's where plan comes into play. That's where setups come into play. I'll now then scan to the 4-hour time frame. And wait, you can see in the 4-hour time frame, we have immediately done our counter trend line, and this counter trend line is going to take Bitcoin back all the way to this demand area right about here. Do you know when I drew this counter trend line, by the time Bitcoin made this high right about here and broke this low? So that's how I drew my trend line. If you're still confused on how to actually draw trend lines and counter trend lines, I made a video about this, and if you've not yet watched that video, you can watch that video right here. So back to what I'm saying. Bitcoin is going to eventually buy, but is it time to enter into a Bitcoin trade? No. Why? Because Bitcoin has to retrace properly. Bitcoin has to pull back to demand zones. Do not enter for Bitcoin buys now, guys. Don't enter for the buy on Bitcoins yet. Wait. That's where patience comes in. That's where professionalizing in trade executions come in. So if you want to join this buy for Bitcoin, you Bitcoin lovers, if you want to actually buy Bitcoin at the right time, you have to wait for Bitcoin to come back to $112,000 per coin mark and rant about there. And eventually, I will give you guys an update on when it's time to buy Bitcoin so you can rally this straight to the upside. Now, it doesn't matter the predictions I make about Bitcoin, to be sincere. It all depends on how you go about your trades. I told you that no trade, even if it comes from me, though I'm a professional, even if it comes from me, you shouldn't take it and over leverage that position. You shouldn't double down on that position in particular. As a matter of fact, you should risk as minimum as you can afford. You should risk as low as the market demands so that you can keep your risks low and your upsides more. I talk a lot about this tactics, about trade executions, while imploring risk management into all your trades. That's all I do on this channel, because risk management is what will make you profitable as a trader. So I expect to buy Bitcoin in the near future. It could be tomorrow, it could be next. Who knows when this trade position will materialize? But once it does materialize, I'm going to enter into a buy trade for Bitcoin. Now, if you're asking how I enter into a trade, simple. Once Bitcoin comes right about this area and reacts about here, and then eventually comes to break this counter trend line, I'll get into the trade. But when that happens, I'll update you guys. So that was all I wanted to talk about in this video and what I see about Bitcoin in the near future. Bitcoin is going to buy, but is it time to buy Bitcoin now? No. So hold your guns, hold your rifle, and get ready to shoot when it's time. That's how snipers trade. So I'm Kojak Pro. I'll see you in my next video.